I do want to recognize our sponsors of the evening, which we're very much an appreciation of because we couldn't do this without them. Those include USA Swimming, Arlick Promotions, which includes the Fitter and Faster Tour, and Colorado Timing Systems. Let's give them all a round of applause and thank them. I'm going to move on to a very special part of our evening, and that's the recognition and induction of the members of this year's class, the 2012 Hall of Fame. The way we do it is we have people that come up that present them, people that know them, have background and experience, and have shared many times with them over their past career. We have 5 members that will be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. And the first inductee is going to be presented by our legendary coach and good friend, Coach Peter Dalen, and his wife Ingrid Dalen. And I would like to ask them to come up and join us right now to talk about Coach Don Sonia.
We're going to talk about an unusual coach who came out of North Carolina State University and came into Southern California, and he said to me, "My name is Don Sonia, and I'd like to get a coaching job." And I said, "Well, I'll see what I can do." And there was an opening at Burbank Swim Academy, which was basically a swimming pool where they taught lessons. And so Don Sonia, the name of this young person from North Carolina State, started in there. And he worked well with the people there, and then got a chance to move across town to another swim school, which became his. He bought it. And started coaching swimmers and started getting results with very unusual methods. Now, I'm going to ask my wife to tell a couple of Don Sonia stories. Unfortunately, Don cannot be here tonight. He has a health problem which limits his travel, but he has a lot of friends that are here. And we're very proud, all of us, that we have the chance to honor Don, and that his wife and daughter and other people from the family are here, and that they will hear it all. Now I'm going to put my wife on because she has some real Don Sonia stories.
Well, I told Peter, I said, I better do some talking because Don is being inducted in the Hall of Fame that we all know he had to be a great coach. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been nominated. But what people don't know, that he is what I consider one of the very last real characters in swimming. He was so unique that I've never in my life met anybody like him, and I don't think I ever will. There is just nobody like him. When you think about it, Peter coming from back east, Philadelphia, button-down shirts and all of that, and Don Sonia was his best friend, totally the opposite, and his other best friend was a coach at Caltech. So there was a great variety of interest here. His swimmers were national level swimmers, they were Olympic swimmers, and he treated them all like his own kids. And the stories I hear from them were amazing. Don gave me a job. I came from Germany, and Peter asked him, "That girl needs a job, can you give her one?" And, well, he just, because of Peter, he just gave me a job, and I started to be a swimming teacher. I never worked a day in my life. I had no idea what I was doing. And he never even taught me. He just said, "Go ahead, do what you want to do and let me just muddle through. And I worked for him, and it was amazing, the experience. He has inspired such loyalty in people that he had the mothers of many of his swimmers work for free, manning his front office. He just let them do what they wanted to do and never paid them anything, and they did it lovingly and willingly and happily, and he never was short of helpers. And he appreciated what they were doing, but he never really bothered about any of that, about running the swim school. He ran the program in the short course pool and the long course pool, Verdugo Hill Swim Club. And he was a guy with a very gravelly voice and loud, as many coaches are. And he had a way of getting the swimmers to do what he wanted them to do. He, for example, would set standards, what he thought he could do. And if they wouldn't do those sets in the times that he thought they needed to be done, he would yell at them and screaming at them in his own, colorful language with a few explicits thrown in there. And if they wouldn't do that, he might even hit them over the head with a kickboard and made them do it until they did the standard that he told them that they could do. And there were times, I was just talking to one of the swimmers, that Billy Craig, one of the Olympic swimmers, was messing around, and a couple of guys messed around the workout, and he yelled at them in his way, "If you don't want to be here, neither do I," and he walked out. And Buddy Bates, who was in the workout, he said, and I was mad because I wanted to work out, but that's the way he got him to do things. Peter introduced me to him and said, I have this friend, he has sort of a condition. I said, what's that? He said, it's scaposis. I said, what's that? He said, it's when your t-shirt doesn't meet your shorts. And that was Don Sonia. He had this belly hanging out all the time. He was in his loafers. He didn't care whether he was at nationals or where in front of television. Didn't bother him one bit. And his friend and coach, Willis Casey, they would be hanging around at the Santa Clara meet or at nationals, and they would bet on relays. And I remember the day when Don came in late, and Willis already sat there, and he said, what's going on? He said, well, which relay do you want? You want George's Santa Clara, or you want Peter's LAAC? And so he said, oh, I bet on Peter's. And Willis looked at him like, you idiot. And Peter's team won. And Don said, I told you so. Willis said, that was a medley relay, not the freestyle relay. And that was just Don. He was just a real character, and everybody loved him, and he inspired such loyalty that a lot of his swimmers are here, even though they swam for him like 40 years ago. And the stories are endless because he just lived at the swim school, and the kids lived there, and it was just one great big happy family. And there is nobody like him. I can tell you that. Nobody will ever be just like a Don Sonia. You all have had experience with your own coaches and with your own swimmers and funny experiences, but Don was just one big funny guy all along, and we love him for it, and we're loyal to him, and sorry you can't be here, Don. We love you.